So, you don't like woke stuff, by user Ari774 I'm. Edit, at the bottom of my post I've responded to some of the comments. My niece works for a company in the Midwest known for their shipping and packing supplies. They are privately owned and very conservative, donating lots of money to Republican causes and candidates. They have strict rules on employee appearance, with men having to wear a tie and women must wear pantyhose and skirts. There can be no visible tattoos, single ear piercings on women only and no other facial piercings. Desks can only have a single family photo, pets don't count. My niece had a marketing degree and was looking for a job. She identifies as non-binary, had a rainbow flag tattoo on her forearm and a nose piercing. She knew about what they were like but the pay was good so she removed the stud from her nose, wore long sleeves to the interview and got the job. While working there she did what she could to make the world a better place. When setting up photo shoots for the catalog she made sure that the people used were diverse where before they had been whiter than mayo on Wonder Bread. She steered printing and supply contracts to minority or LGBTQ-owned companies wherever she could. She managed to get some of her LGBTQ friends hired in various departments. She also worked with a group that was staging a pro-choice rally to get them to print up placards on cardboard from the company's boxes so you'd see their logo on the back of the sign, making it look like they were implicitly supporting the cause. At her desk she knew she could only have one family photo so she made it worthwhile. She took a photo from a family reunion with about 30 people in it and did some photoshopping. In the back row she included Bill and Hillary, Joe Biden, and Obama. Eventually she got a new job offer and put in her 2-week notice. She got permission to have someone help her take her belongings home. Her boss arranged a farewell party. That Friday my niece showed up in ripped-up jeans and a Melissa Etheridge t-shirt. She had her head half-shaved and the remaining hair was purple. She had extra earrings in each ear and a ring in her nose. Her rainbow tattoo was very prominent. And she brought her partner, a woman who purposely butched up her appearance with flannel shirt, Doc Marten boots, etc. In other words, they looked like what conservatives pictured when they thought of lesbians. They pulled everything from the desk drawers, loaded them in boxes and headed to the break room. When they walked through the door the noise stopped. My niece said you expected to hear a record scratch. Her manager stumbled out a mumbled good luck. My niece's partner turned to my niece and said, "It's so sweet that they like you so much," and planted a big kiss on her lips. They stayed for a short time eating cake and saying goodbye. She turned in her office keys and left. Shortly after my niece got emails from former co-workers saying they couldn't believe how ballsy she was and that they wished they had the guts to do something like that. My niece told them about the contracts and photos and they promised to keep up the good work. Update 1. Calling my NB niece her. She very briefly went by they/them but said it just didn't feel natural. She told me that I can use they if she ever develops additional personalities. Actually I call her Wombat, the nickname I gave her when she was little and she thought was funny. 2. Why did she take the job knowing what they were like? She had just graduated college and needed a job. It was entry-level and paid well so she could live on her own and still be able to pay student loans. She thought they were stuffy and old-fashioned but didn't think the piercing and tattoo rule was too outrageous and she could live with it. As time went on and she discovered just how prejudiced and petty they were, she started her minor rebellion. She always did her job well, fulfilling her responsibilities. She actually worked there for 6 years. 3. Steering purchasing to minority-owned companies. Her manager asked her to look at different suppliers when some contracts came up. She first looked through records to see who they had talked to in the past. She then got quotes from them and then found minority-owned companies and got quotes from them. In some cases they could match or beat the existing suppliers, in other cases they couldn't. She presented everything to her manager with pros and cons. She had no power or pull but she could at least get them a seat at the table that had never been offered before. 4. Her final appearance. Yes, it was meant to be a shock. She wanted to show her uptight manager that one of those people could be a reliable employee and that you couldn't judge a book by its cover. 5. Not naming the company. Whenever I see posts here, whether it's this one or any other, people don't give the name of the company, organization, or people involved. No one wants to explicitly say who they are referring to so as not to give out too many details about the parties and maintain a semblance of anonymity. It also helps to not be slandering some company. It is sort of interesting that just based on a couple of descriptive words that many people immediately assumed which company I was referring to. It's almost like this company has a reputation of being run by prejudiced, homophobic, sexist, misogynistic, right-wing douchebags who are terrified of expanding their worldview and accepting that we no longer live in the world of Ozzy and Harriet. I will neither confirm nor deny the name of the company. I will simply say that if you swap one letter in their name that they'll be pissed. Equimated. I trapped my neighbor's cat and sent it to the local shelter, by user Classic Bean. My neighbor has an intact cat who marks my house, to the point where I can't open the windows on one side of my house because of the flies, and the smell. The cat even shits on my fence, like perches on the fucking fence and shits. The cat is an indoor-outdoor type, and chooses my back, front, and side yard as his litter box. I brought the frustration to the owner of the cat who said, I can't keep him inside, to which I replied, you can, but you choose not to. Cool, I swallow my pride, take a shovel and chuck the shit in his yard when I see it. Last week, while rushing to work, I unknowingly stepped in his cat's shit and tracked it into my car. Final straw. I went online to buy an animal trap, set it in my backyard, and after 3 days trapped his cat. Now the furball is at the local shelter, and my yard is poop-free. Disclaimer: love pets, love animals, don't like lazy owners who think their animal should be free to do as they please on other people's property. Update: LMAO, posting to the local subreddit I frequent does nothing. I'm crying. Loudly crying face. Update 2, face with tears of joy. Update 3, the shelters are full of animals, consider adoption today. He made a rude comment in French in front of me, thinking I couldn't understand, but I did, by user pixel__detox. I, F28, live in a 50-floor high-rise building, in downtown Vancouver. I just got back from a sweet sunset run. A family entered the building with me, and held the door for me. They were speaking French together, but I thanked them in English, the main language here in British Columbia. We all walked towards the elevators and ended up all in the same one. It was a couple and their 3 kids, all boys around 8 to 10 years old. I am bad with ages, but they were the age of being able to speak and think enough to understand what is right and wrong. They were chatting in French, and since it's my mother tongue, I could understand everything they were saying. As we were going up more than 30 floors, it takes a little time, the dad turned to his kids and asked. Alors, lest belle ou pas belle, / so, is she pretty, or not pretty? My brain suddenly froze, thinking, could he speak about me? One of the kids quickly responded. Pas belle / not pretty. I stopped breathing for a sec, realizing now fully, that it was truly me they were blatantly judging right in front of me. I froze, sadly, that's mostly how I react when situations are just unbelievable. With just a few floors left before I could escape the awkwardness, I had a choice to make: let it go, nope, or seize this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for perfect linguistic revenge. I'm not the confrontational type, but I couldn't let this slide. I wasn't the one deserving to feel awkward in this elevator. I kept my cool, though, and as I exited the elevator, I turned back and said with the most sassy French accent I could give. Bonne soirée / have a good evening. The look on their faces? Absolutely priceless. I left quickly, but in hindsight, I wish I'd made direct eye contact until the doors closed. I've dealt with rude comments before, but this moment was chef's kiss. I've always dreamed of a situation like this where I could use another language to surprise someone who thought I couldn't understand them. I'm just saying, but keep your language skills to yourself, you never know when it can become handy. Learning multiple languages is 100% worth it just for bamboozling people like that. The mom stood there silently the whole time, almost like she wasn't really present. I couldn't help but wonder if she faces this kind of behavior from him too. There are a few Arabs in my building, so I'm guessing they were tourists. I never saw them again, unfortunately, no chance for a second revenge. I didn't do anything to your car, by user Gradical. Years ago I took my wife to a fabric store, and waited outside in my car. This lady pulls up to me, throws open her door and it hits my car. She didn't look at me, so I got out of my car. Excuse me, you just hit my car with your door. No I didn't. I was sitting in the car, and I heard and felt you hit my car. No I didn't. I realized she wasn't going to admit it, and there was only a small mark on the door, so I watched her go inside the store. It's an older car and had some other dings, I just wanted her to say sorry. Canadian here, we say it all the time, it's not hard to do. My wife was still inside the store when the lady came out, absolutely glaring at me. I rolled down the window and said, I didn't do anything to your car. What? I said, I didn't do anything to your car. She spent the next 20 minutes looking over her vehicle, pausing to glare at me. I egged her on every 5 or so minutes by repeating I didn't do anything to your car. It's fine. Nothing at all. She finally peeled out of the spot in a huff and my wife came out, wondering why I was in such a good mood after I spent a good hour in the car. I told her I found something to pass the time. The asterisk edited for clarity. I paused my movie BC they were watching it, by user 00MCR0TCH. Edit/update. Let me add some context to a few things for you all. They've consistently been stealing my sweets, snacks, soda drinks, bowls, utensils, laundry detergent, etc. Basically helping themselves to all of my stuff. Like my silverware is missing. Also using things they were explicitly asked not to use, it was in the terms listed before move-in. I've always said yes to them when they ask me for things but I've always said to ask first. I would have said yes if they'd asked but the disrespect of helping themselves to everything without asking, is too much. Also don't think they're taking from me because they're broke. When they run out of money one of them calls their daddy and he sends them money. I know they're also not going without based on the endless food and grocery deliveries showing up for them. They live in the ado that came built above our garage so they have plenty of living space too. Essentially their own massive master bedroom the size of a 3-car garage with its own private entrance. We also provided the room semi-furnished so they have not only a brand new king bed but they also have somewhere to hang out other than their bed. As well as TV, Roku, their own Wi-Fi network, etc. So that's the reason my portion of the house was never intended to be a shared living space. They were only to have access to the main house for laundry and to use the kitchen. These were the terms agreed upon before move-in. I didn't just make them up to be a dick like some of you think. They're also only on a month-to-month lease. So yes, I can legally choose to change the terms of the next month's lease and I can also legally choose not to re-sign them for more months. Their lease is up on the 14th. They've been given the choice to find somewhere else to live or they can re-sign for one last month with zero access to the main house. The choice is theirs. They broke the terms of the lease and the law. With that, I could have served them an eviction notice on the spot. So I think I'm being pretty chill considering what I could have done. As for my comment about having told them previously not to mess with me. I didn't say don't mess with me. I explicitly told them when during the walkthrough / showing that the two kinds of people I don't mess around / fuck with are thieves and liars. I have no tolerance for that shit. They were nervous that I would judge them for being in recovery. This was my way of trying to say IDGAF if they're in recovery. As long they aren't thieves or liars, we're all good. My family is full of addicts and I'm a former detox tech. Having a history of addiction doesn't alter my opinion of people. But lying and stealing do. I actually even wanted to rent them the room to help keep them on the right track in their recovery. To address the firearms, they're all secured and locked away. They know this and have seen the safe they're secured in. During the walkthrough they were told about them as well as the security cameras throughout our home. They said they were totally chill with it. At one point I even showed them that they're stored fully unloaded and properly inside of the safe. They were actually eager to see inside when I offered and I even let them handle a couple of them when they asked. But in the next couple of days, one of them admitted to me that they're actually terrified of them. This was news to me considering how okay they were during the walkthrough. I have never threatened them, nor do I intend to. Their presence alone scares them without me even having done anything lol. As for my being scrappy when heated, they did see myself and a neighbor get into a heated discussion. Her children were writing the N-word with the hard R in chalk on my sidewalk. Just my sidewalk, no one else's. I was trying to tell the kids' mom that chalk wasn't cool on my sidewalk anymore because of what they were writing. She outright denied it was her kids when I know it was them. It's their chalk that she bought for them. They literally left it on my lawn. So yes, I called out their mom in a scrappy manner when she denied it was her kids and started being bitchy to me. And no, I'm not sorry. Also, I thought it was clear at the top of my post but let me say it clearly again lol. I am a female. Also the roommates are females. The only male in the house is my partner. I appreciate y'all thinking I've got dick energy though, I think. Eyes. I, F27, have roommates and one of them is a thief. They're being kicked out but that takes time. In the meantime I'm still living in my home as I should. So just now I was sitting on the couch watching a Netflix movie when the thief went to the kitchen to cook. It's especially tense since I caught them stealing again yesterday and that's when I gave them notice that they need to move out. And as I'm sitting here watching this movie, I noticed that they had stopped what they were doing for an extended period of time. This MF was standing there watching the movie I had on as if this is hangout time. Like, get done what you need to and go TF back to your space. Your thieving presence is clearly not welcome anymore. And this was never meant to be a shared hangout area in the first place. So I paused the movie and they suddenly went back to cooking. They couldn't have been more obvious. So after that I had it paused until they went back to their part of the house. My petty ass sat here in silence for 15 minutes until they left. Bonus, yesterday, I told them they have until tomorrow at a certain time to get their food out of my pantry. After that, I'm installing a coded gate lock on it. I also made a point of aiming a security camera explicitly at the pantry. They knew they were being recorded before, which makes them stealing even more wild. But I want them to really feel it now. Gonna act like a criminal and steal from me, I'm gonna treat you like one.